This ain't my first recession, darling. I have been through a recession before. Well, hello guys, I am back and boy, I feel like the time is very much now. I know I've been gone for the last 6 months, but summer was calling and peace of mind was also calling. But I am back because I know that the world has gone to It's scary times out there. The Queen is dead, house prices are falling, there is a cost of living crisis, and I know a lot of people feel uncomfortable, unsure about what to do next, and are actually feeling very scared. So I wanted to go ahead and to give you advice on how to financially prepare for rough times because you're gonna wanna hang on to your horses. It's about to get real. I didn't want to jump on the bandwagon about how bad everything is, which it's about to be bad, but I wanted to give you tools and to make you feel empowered to navigate this season ahead. And the reason why I feel like I'm able to do that is because this ain't my first recession, darling. I have been through a recession before. Now that makes me feel a little bit old. Like when I was 19, 20, when I was just leaving university, thinking about jobs, there was a recession. It was the 2008 recession. Everything was crashing, Lehman Brothers went down, and I was looking for jobs in banking. And then this was happening. I was very, very nervous then, but in the same breath, I was pretty naive. I didn't actually know what a recession meant for me, and I was lucky enough to not really have any debt besides my student loan debt, which nobody cared about. So bearing in mind, recessions happen, they come and go. All you want to be able to do is kind of weather and hang on through the storm. So I'm going to give you some advice to do that. So point number one, listen, recessions are not new. Throughout time, there have been moments where things go up and things come crashing down. And the current recession we are in is definitely triggered by a number of factors. One, COVID-19, 2, war in Ukraine, 3, just it's about that time. The world, the money, the stock market, the house prices have been on this upward trajectory for a very long time. And at some point in time, there needs to be course correction. And that is what you're going to see happening now. One thing a lot of people ask is, how long is the recession going to be? When is the bottom of the recession? The one thing you can know about certain things like this is that you can never really predict it. And if you try to time the market, you are going to lose. You're not going to know how that's going to work. You're not going to have that specific information. So what you want to do is be prepared and have your arsenal of actions you are going to take. Point number one is that cash is king in this season. Honey, if you wanted to do soft life, you're gonna be cold, because just sitting back and not necessarily thinking about how to, one, maximize your cash and increase your revenue is a very big risk. Things are going to become more expensive. Interest rates are going to go up. What you used to spend on something, your weekly shop that used to cost £50 now costs £70. Therefore, you need more money. Oh gosh. You need more money. And if you need more money, you're gonna have to work out ways to generate income. So you might already have a job. Now is the time to speak to your employers and ask about pay rises. You need the confidence to go in and ask because life is getting expensive. And I think a lot of the bigger corporations do have the funds to actually pay people more. And I think that people just need to feel equipped and confident enough that they can go in and ask for what they are worth. You don't necessarily need to work every hour under the sun for the same rate of pay. It doesn't work. Go in there, ask for pay rise. You don't have a job, you're gonna need to get a job or think about generating forms of income. Whether you decide to upskill yourself, whether you try to do some training, there are certain industries as well that are recession proof, such as healthcare, e.g. pharmacists are always needed. Engineers are always needed. Consider finding yourself in some of these recession proof industries where you are not going to get fired because they can't afford you anymore. Consider, as you've heard it many a time, side hustles and passive income. Listen, do you know what? Now is not the season for passive income. If you didn't put passive income in place before the recession, now is not the time it's gonna happen. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion. Now is the time. Active income. Go to work. Go to work, it's the time. And I know this sounds harsh, but there is a season where you have to sow the seeds and there is a season where you get to plant the seeds. Now is the season to do a little bit more back-breaking work to get the money in, especially if you wasn't prepared previously. And another way to generate cash is basically sell the stuff you don't need. Moving on to my next point nicely, this is really where ish hits the fan and it's time to do a financial audit. What has got to go? What isn't working in your life? What are expenses you don't need to shelter anymore? many more. And I know that, it's hard to give up things. And I'll be completely honest with you, I sold my car. I sold my Porsche Macan. One, I hate driving, but two, that car was costing me £1,000 per month. And I was like, this is £1,000 per month that sits on my drive. That's the opposite of passive income. That's a liability. So I sold my car, sold it back to them, and actually made a profit. And I actually got £30,000 back for my car that I am actually using to purchase a house at auction. If you want to see a video of me buying a house on auction again, hit the like button, leave a comment, that will be the next video. But I decided that I really needed to determine what are my assets and what are my liabilities. And that's what a financial audit is all about. There are certain things that are just gonna have to go, costs you don't need. And this is where you might want to look at your budget. I have a budget tracker I've shared with many of you, link in the description bar below. Look at that budget and really look out what you can cut, because the issue is that things are going to go up in price for this period of time. If you have a mortgage, the likelihood is that if you are coming to remortgage now, those interest rates of 4%, 5% upwards are not going to be cute. Rents are going to potentially go up, and we already know that the cost of living in general is going up. You're gonna have to reduce some costs somewhere. My gym membership, I found out, was £140 when I could have a gym membership for £40. Cancelled. Let's get excited. I want to know in your comments below, what are you cancelling? Let's just cancel, and just hit every cha-ching. All of that money is coming back into your bank account. Now, it's likely to go on to the expensive living, but it is what it is. Another smart decision is to pay off debt that you have now as much as possible. Again, I know a lot of people kind of wait to pay off debt, or they pay off little bits at a time, but because of the higher interest rates, you need to pay off your high interest rate debt first. Please, honestly, this is something that can really snowball and mount in a way that is not going to be valuable, particularly now. Get in there, look at those debts, look at those credit cards, look at those Klarna payments, is it Klarna payments, and just think about, right, how am I paying this off? And just get an action plan to get rid of your high debt now. So something you're going to want to think about doing is financial prioritization. This is really what I call it's the budgeting action. It's the looking at what on earth is going on. How much cash do I have? How much debt do I have? What are my expenses? What's going to happen if this becomes more expensive? How am I going to afford life? And how do I think about how to approach what I need to do next? You really need to sit down with a piece of pen and paper and actually work out, okay, what do I need to do? And I think financial auditing is something that people don't do enough. I think we just get on with our lives and we don't really think about what's going on. We see either a low balance in the bank, or we see a high balance in the bank, but we really aren't doing that kind of long-term planning about our finances, even if it's on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. Now is the time to sit down and do a financial audit. And I swear I should do a little template for you guys, but let me know in the comments if you want to see that. So this might be an old school method, and it is to consider consolidating and buddying up. Now is not the time to try and be independent on your own. And I am pretty sad that we've lost this ability in our communities to connect with others, to find others to help us, to find a neighbor or find a friend or find some kind of group where you work together. So for instance, I'm a mum, and if I could find someone else who could do babysitting for me for free, that's an expense I don't have to pay. And then I could then babysit for them for free. How can you share labor, time, resources with other people that you trust and you love? Maybe it's time for you to get a group together, talk about how you are going to power through this season together. Other ways that you can find systems amongst the people that you know to really add value to each other. Is it sleepovers so you can save on electricity and gas? I know this sounds extreme, but you don't know what people are going through right now. And actually, some people cannot afford to heat their houses every single day. So I also wanted to talk about income generation during a recession, because yes, as that TikTok rightly noted, some people are getting rich at this point in time. Because if you did have the cash already, and if you did stock up, and if you did have your passive income sources, you were ready to actually spend some money, I don't think there's anything wrong with now investing now. And actually, personally, I've put more into the stock market now than ever before. If you want to know more about that, I will let you know. I also mentioned that I'm actually purchasing a home on auction action tomorrow because there are some great offers now in the market of more affordable homes because home prices are falling. And again, I'm in a slightly different position, but I can share that process. If you were ever thinking about if now is the time for you to make certain financial decisions that involve you spending money or putting money into certain things, it's not financial advice. I'm not against it though. I think if you can determine that if you can afford it, if you don't need the cash right now, if you have your emergency savings, now is a really great time to actually take some action. And my final point is to have mental and emotional preparation at times like this. I think we've gone from the pain and the anxiety of COVID to the pain and anxiety of wars to death to now a crisis. And I think the one thing that you can invest in is actually trying to really ground yourself at this time. As I've mentioned before, this has happened before, this will happen again. So how do you want to react? How do you want to feel in this moment in time? And also, if there is information out there that doesn't serve you, that makes you feel worse, the news is literally making your mind blow and making you feel more anxious, you are okay to turn it off. You don't have to listen to all of that. You don't have to believe all of that. You need to prepare yourself and your home and your family and your mind. But honestly, there's a lot of noise that isn't necessarily the most helpful for everyday people. So whatever you can do to keep your sanity and to keep your confidence and your mental and emotional stability in check, you should really focus on doing that first. And I'm telling you now, when your mind is right, your money is just as good. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. It's been a long time coming. I've really wanted to come back and just have a chat with you and get the break going again. But I had to enjoy myself, and I needed peace of mind. I needed a break, but I'm back. And whatever you want me to talk about next, let me know in the comments. Send me messages on Instagram. I will be relaunching the Break Instagram page. So I'm here and we are back to make moves, money moves together. All right, thank you for watching. Bye.